It's important to know that when you get to the level where you're considering a software purchase of this volume, your implementation cost, whether internal or external, is usually quite a bit larger than that software cost. It's not like buy the software, you're done.
Welcome to AdBuying Analytics. My name is Adam Collings. I'm the Director of Marketing. I'm here with Mike Query, our founding engineer, and this is the rapid fire version. Today we're talking about GA360. First rapid fire question, just to get people out who don't need to watch the rest of this video. Who needs to be considering a paid analytics platform versus fine with the free version?
One of the first qualifiers is price. Most paid analytics platforms are in the six-figure annual software contract range. GA360 has $150,000 annual license fee list price. Others may be higher than that or lower than that. But if you don't have that sort of a tolerance for price, then it's likely you're not going to be benefiting from the features. Now we talk about, say you do have that tolerance for price. Most of the next criteria is based on data volume. So GA360 allows us to have 10 million hits on a monthly basis, and GA4's enterprise version will be slightly different, but tens of millions of hits on a monthly basis that are covered in the free version. So if you have hundreds of millions of hits, then there's software, there's service license agreements that allow you to handle larger data volumes, and you have a potential to analyze that data and get a lot more granular value out of it that you can benefit from with an enterprise tool.
So let's talk real quick about, we have this old world of GA free and GA360, and we have a new world coming to us next year, GA4, and some, do we know what the name is? We'll just call it paid GA4.
I think we're calling it GA4 360. I think that's what it's been called so far.
Brand is something else. Yeah. But the paid version of GA4.
Yeah.
So what are those? So we know that, so I'm going to walk you through. You tell me where I'm right and wrong, and then where we need any additional coloring. So free version of GA has existed, the current version of the free version, for maybe 5 years, depending on how you look at the upgrades. Then there's the GA360. You cross that threshold when you want to actively use more than 10 million data hits in a given month, and you're going to be paying six figures for it. In the new world, GA4 will be free, and you'll get more free data to work with. It goes from 10 million a month to 1 million a day.
30 million a month.
30 million a month. So you're going to get more free data usage out of GA4, but that's not going to work for everybody. There's obviously going to be businesses that are far exceeding that amount who will need the paid version of GA4, whatever they end up calling that. Is that generally correct?
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that I'll get from the benefit side of this from using a paid platform?
So one is the support for the data volume. We kind of just went through that. One of the second ones is integration with other business systems. Historically, one of the biggest reasons to move to an enterprise product is to get the raw data out of that product for integration with other business systems. One of the amazing things about GA4 free is that we get that data out of GA4 to BigQuery, Google's cloud data warehouse product, for free, which is amazing. The difference between GA4 free and GA4 360 is quite a bit smaller than Universal Analytics free to Universal Analytics 360 because of that big feature difference. But some of the other things you might get are integration with ad buying platforms like Display and Video 360 in the Google Marketing Stack, Campaign Manager 360, Search Ads 360 for the purpose of audience creation and activating audiences in ad buying, as well as additional attribution modeling and performance measurement against ad buys.
How do if someone's out there considering a paid analytics platform, they're probably considering more than just the paid version of Google Analytics. They might be looking at Adobe or some of these other ones. In the case, we're not making an Adobe video here. We have them. They're not in this video. But for Google, for the GA4 360 interested people, how do they go about acquiring that? It's not as simple as just buy now.
Yep. So for GA enterprise software purchases, you don't go to Google. You end up going to a Google sales partner or a software reseller, a Google software reseller. And those people are tasked, their responsibility is to contract directly with you and provide you a licensing agreement and then coordinate with Google to get your enterprise product in your business's hands. So there's a negotiation process there a little bit. It is a sales process. They'll try to bundle some things in with those licenses to give you additional value, and everybody has a little bit different of a flavor on that. But the pricing is fairly consistent across the board at that $150,000 a year.
And broadly speaking, what we would advise people to look at is with that list price, they're going to get a certain, there typically are a certain amount of hours, and we want people to be eyes wide open on this. Those hours are typically for support, which is different than hours that would be needed in order to implement the paid tool.
Yeah, it's important to know that when you get to the level where you're considering a software purchase of this volume, your implementation cost, whether internal or external, is usually quite a bit larger than that software cost. It's not like buy the software, you're done. That's the end of cost. It's like buy the software, then implement that software, and then continue to increase feature usage, increase like the insight generation from it. So either it's data engineering, it's analysis, and all of those costs, you can see that like $150K a year is probably the cost of a highly qualified internal employee. You're probably going to have 3 or 4 people that are using this most of the day, every day, either internal to your team or external to your business.
So again, for someone considering this, let's give them sort of an audit, an internal skill set audit that they can use to say, hey, do we have these skills internally? Does the partner that we currently have or the partner we've been recommended, hey, they recommended this individual singular.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the skills that in order for this to be successful, what are the skills that need to be present for the people actually doing the implementation work?
So those skills line up with the benefits pretty well. So one of those big benefits is that you get system integration and you get more granular insights into the hands of decision makers. In order to do that, it means you need analytics architecture, somebody who says, how do these business problems present themselves in data so we know what data to collect, how to prepare it, and then how to deliver it to teams, as well as what systems need to be integrated so that there's automatic decision-making in our behalf that's benefiting us. So that's analytics architect. Then there's data collection engineer or web analytics engineer, somebody who's responsible for getting data collected and coordinating that with engineering teams to get data collected into the analytics system. Then there's data engineer. That's the person who's extracting data from the analytics system, preparing that for review, preparing that for visualization or automated analysis. Maybe even you'd consider this a data scientist at an advanced level. So that's data engineer or data scientist. And then there's data visualization engineer, and that's probably somebody who's building reporting and making sure that these insights get into the hands of decision makers.
And so if someone's out there considering this and the purchase partner that they're going through says, hey, yeah, we have this person that we've assigned you to Tim, he's your engineer. We want people to know that's engineer is not good enough in terms of like skill set. They need to dig a little deeper in terms of what that engineer actually can do.
We laugh because we've tried to hire people that have all of those skills, and it doesn't happen. It's really, really hard. It's more likely that you have a breadth of people, a small team of people, each with specializations in those areas. So it's unlikely that you buy this and have all of those skills in-house to execute this perfectly, because you probably don't need those people all day, every day in your business. You probably need them during implementation and then during some sorts of like key moments as you mature. So oftentimes you're looking external to your business. And if you're talking to partners that say, we've got one person, here's your one analytics consultant, you go, it's unlikely that they're able to do all of those things well.
You can see then how the cost begins to escalate with skill set people versus, in addition to just the cost of the software. When that goes successfully, and we're looking back on a successful implementation of a paid analytics platform, in this case, Google Analytics Enterprise, go GA4, 360, whatever they're going to end up calling it, what will have gone well and what will we be getting out of it?
So let's say you're a year past implementation, you're looking back and it's been a good one. What do you see? Well, what you see is more and more granular insights being delivered to stakeholders, either in the form of automated reporting or in the form of analysts that have been culling through the data, looking at it pretty regularly for the last year, that have been asking deep business granular questions. When somebody sees this product and not this product, but then this product, what's their likelihood versus some other scenario? People have been asking those questions day to day. Additionally, you look back and see we've got ad buying that's become more efficient because we're leveraging better audiences that we've created in our analytics platform in our ad buying so that we've gotten more targeted ad buys. And you probably also see we have better system integration between what we're buying, the data that we see, behavior we see on the web versus behavior that we see with the sales team versus behavior that we see in maybe long-term product use or something. We have a cleaner picture. Our data teams have helped to join that data and give us a cleaner picture of a singular customer profile. That's what we'd see looking back on an implementation.
And so where does AdMind fit in to all of these different moving parts?
So it's a good question. We've built ourselves to provide those skills that are usually not needed all day, every day at the business. So we have analytics architects, data collection and web analytics engineers, data engineers, business analysts, data visualization engineers. And so we help from the early stages of saying what platforms make sense to selecting platforms and even helping in the contracting and the negotiation and contracting, and then in the implementation, and then in the training of teams to make sure that teams have the capability to use the features that they've just purchased.
So if you're listening to that and feeling like your team is not currently skilled in those areas, it's probably worth reaching out.
We'd love to help.
Sounds like one of the hardest things to do with Google Analytics 360 is